All right. Good morning. Today is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen. It is Tuesday, February 10th, and it is 8:37. In front of you, you have this morning's agenda. We have a couple items to add to this morning's agenda. First is some lease agreements. So it would be for a commercial lease at 93 Elm Street and 28 Grove Street, and then emergency electrical repairs. Could I get a motion to add those two items to the agenda?
So moved.
Second. It's unanimous. And we'll put the lease agreements right after public comment, and then the electrical repairs we'll put wherever we have the stuff that, wherever with Tiger stuff. Oh, 11. Yeah, 10 or 11. We'll just do that. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. So if I could get a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second. It's unanimous. Second, we have the minutes from our regularly scheduled meeting on January 27th. We can approve those today, correct?
No, I think those are the ones we need to take a look at.
So is it the 27th or the 29th?
The 20. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, so 27th, we're going to defer. If I could get, are there January 29th minutes? Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
No.
None here.
No.
All right, if I could get a motion to approve that January 29th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Public comments. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments to the Board of Selectmen on agenda topics scheduled for review and or vote. Comments submitted electronically should be sent to the following email address: bosdistribution@newcanaan.ct.gov. We had one email submitted by Jeff Holland. We'll submit that for the record. Do we have any additional public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to the lease agreements. If we could get Bill and Joe Masher, you could come on up. So last night there were approvals of two lease agreements, and so we're the final step to get these leases moving forward. The first one is a commercial lease for the Playhouse building at 93 Elm Street. So do you have any questions or comments? I guess, Joe, if you would, yeah. So I guess it's important to let the public know that last night the town council approved the lease between the town of New Canaan and Scene One LLC, which is sort of bringing someone who has been in the community previously back home, I guess. And Joe's got a new company or a relatively new company that he's running. So Joe, why don't you just tell us just very briefly a little bit about your company and what you plan for the Playhouse?
Yeah, sure. Scene One Entertainment LLC is a company that's owned solely by me now. For 20 years, I was the chief operating officer of Bowtie Cinemas. So I have extensive experience with the old Playhouse. And I'm very excited to be back, and what you've done with the Playhouse, making it into its current iteration. It's amazing. And my goal is to make sure that it is a centerpiece, is the centerpiece of town and the beacon of Elm Street.
We're very excited to have you here, and we're excited for the next chapter of the Playhouse. Any questions?
Oh, just so that the public's aware, a brief sort of layout of what they should expect when they walk into the theater. Everything's going to look the same, feel the same. You're adding, sure. What are you adding into the experience?
Well, right now I'm adding the fact that we're going to have the upstairs open. I am working out the agreement with Z Hospitality Group so that they operate the pub and the upstairs space, and it's open to the public and accessible all the time. The theater itself will have a deep cleaning and will look pristine and sparkling like it did in July of 2024, sorry. And it'll look like that again all the time. And we will have great food, snacks, movies, and just be accessible to everyone. And we'll work very, very diligently to bring people back to the movies, get butts in those seats, and get people spending money in downtown New Canaan.
Yeah, and the one thing that really impressed me with Joe's experience is your long experience in running movie theaters and your sense of making sure that you pull in movies that pull people into the theater and balance what makes sense for our two theaters vis-a-vis other products. So I think that's super important. And then just making the experience very seamless. Like, the current Playhouse, if you wanted to get a glass of wine, you had to wait for a bartender. You're hopefully stocking things with grab and go, obviously age appropriate. And I think I really have a sense from Joe that he's going to really tune it into the community and maximize the utilization of the space. I feel very optimistic that from the town's perspective, we're going to have consistent lease payments, and the lease is such that all operating expenses go there. So the town will have the access to the movie theater that'll be heavily used, and the town will get some reimbursement for it. I'm very excited that you're taking it over.
Thank you, as am I.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that came up during our discussions was the fact that Joe not only can get first run movies and time them correctly, because we've had some questionable, like at Christmas, maybe not the right movie there or whatever, but Joe has a real good grasp of when to put movies in, what to put movies in, a lot of variables to the different movies, and access to not only first run movies, but we've talked about independent movies sometimes, or Netflix, sometimes, which is really exciting. So
yeah, absolutely.
All new sort of looks at different movies.
I called my film buyer when I left her last night, and we already made plans for upcoming stuff. So
good.
We're excited.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Joe. Very exciting. And it's important that the town and the residents, let's get out there and see a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I said I've been to another theater that he's managed in another state, and it's a great theater. So I have high expectations, and I think just your experience is going to be really welcome to the community. So thank you again for being willing to take this on. I know it's not an easy industry. So
you and Bill and the Board of Selectmen and everybody for your support. I'm very excited again, and I can't wait to get going.
Great.
And exciting. It should be seamless. But the theater should stay. There should not be any interruption. And when you take over, and
I have a good relationship with Cinema Lab with Brandon, and we've already spoken. And they'll leave one day, and the next day it opens as a Scene One theater.
Excellent.
Great.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. So if I could get a motion to approve the commercial lease between the Playhouse, Town of New Canaan, and Scene One Entertainment LLC. Is that what?
Scene One New Canaan LLC.
Scene One New Canaan LLC. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. All right, congratulations.
Go get him.
We'll see you soon.
All right, and then the other request is for the lease at 28 Grove Street. Tiger, do you want to say anything about this? Is the 28 Grove Street. It was the strategic purchase a couple years ago for access to the lumberyard lot, and it doesn't have a use right now. There was a dilapidated home on the property that's been removed, so it's just empty space right now. And
yeah, no, you've done a nice summary. So
there's more to it.
Right. We took it as Deanna mentioned, we took it as a strategic parcel since it connects the lumberyard lot with Grove Street. And then the house was in disrepair. We took the house down last spring of 25. And then it's been sitting fallow. We're basically filled in the hole with gravel. And we would like to monetize the area. Right now, it's almost like an attractive nuisance. Someone's going to eventually start parking in there. We're going to have to actually ask people to leave from parking in there. They find parking everywhere. So we went out for an RFP, got one response from Hobbs Incorporated. The town council approved it last night, and it would be it's for 10 years, but we have 6 months where we can cancel at any time. So it's just given 6 months notice. So if it comes through that we want to take advantage of the strategic parcel for whatever reason, then we just give them 6 months notice, and we'd be well into the planning phases by that time. So we would have ample time to get them out and then do whatever we need to do with the parcel to get it ready for its next use. So we're We don't see any issues with it. We have no use for the property at present. Might as well allow someone to have use.
And what will residents see there when, we're not paving it,
Right. Thank you. So right now it's just basically where the house footprint is gravel. We'll smooth that area off, grade it, make it a little bit better. The area of use is the footprint of the house. So we don't get into the impervious area was already encapsulated within the house. We're not doing anything more than that. The driveway will stay as is. There's 2 small trees that have to be removed, but they're more like saplings. They are a tree, but they're more like a sapling. The rest of the property, the plantings will stay, and it'll be grassed in the back. Town's responsible to take down the 2 trees and cut the grass. Hobbs will be responsible for any subsequent grading of the area, say that they start to dig it up with cars turning movements, things of that nature, and snow removal of both the driveway and the parking area, as well as the sidewalk in front. So our staff, our parks guys won't have to drive over there special to be able to take care of that one parcel. So the Hobbs will take care of that as well.
Any other
Good. A little
questions?
bit of revenue.
Yeah. So I didn't, so the lease, it's a 10-year lease. Is there obviously we've looked at legally, we've looked at it, our attorneys looked at it. Is there an escalator in there that,
Every year.
Yeah, it's double it's a multiple
Yeah.
of whatever the parking permit. It's double the parking permit rate.
Okay.
Whatever you said is the parking rate at the lumberyard lot ×2 for that year, and it's reevaluated every April 1st.
Got it.
So
That's
And
good.
it gives us utmost flexibility. If somebody came in and said, I'll pay it 10 times,
Yeah.
we can switch it.
6 months.
But they can cancel as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
So,
both sides.
yeah.
It's cancelable by both sides within 6 months. So
Yeah, I mean, the Hobbs obviously have been good stewards of all the properties they've owned in town, so I wouldn't expect anything less. I think it'll look great for, they'll keep it up, and you won't see any blight over there. You won't see any, it'll be seamless. So.
right, we don't anticipate any problems. It'll be for employee parking only, no nighttime parking, no commercial vehicles or equipment. So it's strictly for their employees, an additional space for their employees to park.
Great. All right.
all right. So if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a parking lease between Hobbs, is it on, does it say Hobbs? I don't have a lease in front
It's
of me.
Hobbs
Inc.
Incorporated.
Hobbs Inc.
Yeah.
And the town of New Canaan.
Okay, but the town council had additional provisions that they wanted
Oh,
put into
yes,
that lease.
yes, very good.
So as amended,
Subject- yeah,
as
subject
subject
to
to
the-
incorporation of town council, however you want to say that.
Yep.
right?
Was there a lot of amendments or?
There were about 4, they were very legal. There were like four additions. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But
Okay.
appropriate. They were all
Right.
appropriate.
And if Hobbs has a problem with it, then we'll be coming back to
figure it out. That's fine.
approve a different lease.
Okay.
Okay, so did we got a so moved and a second subject to the lease? All in favor?
I'll second. I didn't know
Okay.
we did it, but so there you go.
And it's unanimous.
Thank you.
So thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right, chief. All right, before you start, you're gonna have to tell us a little bit about last night.
It was
I
great.
couldn't come last night.
No, it was a great event. Amy was there. Well received, a lot of interaction with the public. For those that don't know, it was a crime prevention presentation at the library. We had about 50 or 60 people that showed up. It was good interaction, a lot of
They had to move it to
questions
a
and
bigger
answers.
room.
Nice.
So it was well received, and I think we're going to look to do it again, probably in the springtime before
Okay.
people go away on vacations. I think it's a good reminder for folks. And perhaps the next one we can even record so people can watch it
Great.
virtually if they had to.
So what were sort of the most common questions people were asking you?
I think it was just how better we can respond. We had some good suggestions. One resident brought up that in another town,
That's good.
at a business, they had a reminder in the window to lock your vehicles,
Oh,
and perhaps we could even put those on the parking pay machines.
yeah.
Something to remind people, hey, you're going to pay for your parking, but you have your keys with you? Remind you to lock your cars. So that was a good suggestion that I think we'll look into, see if we can draft something up and put out into our municipal parking lots and some of the businesses. So
Great.
it was a good suggestion. So
I did attend because I wanted to hear what was going on. What was really startling is they had a couple clips from people's Ring cameras or whatever of how fast this stuff happens. And that, it's typically 2 cars and the car that's dropping someone off is typically also a stolen car and very fancy car. And it's within like 5 seconds that people can do this. And it's very, I mean, they know which cars are unlocked. Just lock your cars, lock your cars.
Well, it was funny because I think it was the New Canaanite Coffee last week, you'll have to connect with Claire AU because she's all excited. She's a playwright and very funny. She's a comedian kind of, and just very creative. She wants to do some kind of PSA, but in a funny way.
That'd be good.
And that we could maybe put out on social media or whatever. So I think I might have to connect her with you, and I think we could have some fun.
I would like the police department not to publicly shame people. It was a sentiment that did come out last night that it is very real, that we don't want to victim shame people.
Yeah.
People that get their car stolen are victims. They are victims of a crime.
Yeah.
It's not illegal to leave your keys in your car or your house unlocked. So we don't want to publicly shame people that are victims of a crime, and we recognize that. So we would like to be very careful of that.
Yeah. No.
What Mike Dinan does on his page is his prerogative, but we're not in the shaming business.
No, I'm not into shaming either. So, but you can be humorous and not shaming.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was my point. Is being funny about it to try to get people to at least somebody. There's a lot of people that don't pay attention. So anything to grab people's attention. Say, hey.
Yeah, and it's everyone has the right to do what they want. However, if we all can be part of the community and be better about locking our cars, we'll be a less attractive target.
Correct.
And that's what it comes down to. And it's just, who wants to go through that?
Yeah, and some of those high-end cars, the tip of the week was, and some of us have read about this and know about this, but the mirror fold is a big deal. You leave your keys in the car, mirrors are out.
It's an easy tell that the
take your
car's
keys and the
unlocked,
mirrors
and
come
it's
in.
just a matter of opening the car, push the button. If it starts, the key's in there, and they drive away that quick. So
just drive a Honda. They're not going to go for it.
All right, moving on. So the travel request.
first up is a travel request for Sergeant Sprasta to travel to Portsmouth, New Hampshire on February 23rd, return on February 24th to conduct a background investigation for our police officer candidate that's currently participating in our recruitment process.
Can I ask a question? I know it's a travel request, but this is routine what you do when you're looking, you always go, and why do we have to approve a 200?
It's out of state.
Yeah. It just seems goofy.
Board of Ed has to do it every
all right.
out of state.
I like to believe that all travel is to New Hampshire for $160 a night.
I love that.
We've seen some big numbers. That's a nice number.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good with it.
All right. So you have a motion to
Yes.
approve?
Motion approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you. All right. And then AAA police supply.
Supply. So this is to supply simunition conversion kits to convert our newly purchased firearms into training aids. These allow our officers to train in use of force on force training. And it basically converts our firearms into paintball guns so we can use them in some simulation exercises that better train our officers and do it very safely. So
how long do these conversion kits last?
they'll last the lifetime of the firearms. They're pretty reliable.
So for $7,500, how many conversion kits are?
So that'll convert 10 of our weapons. So when officers arrive at training, they can secure their duty firearms and use these that are dedicated. So there's no cross contamination. There's no danger of using our live firearm or live ammunition. So we keep the training area sterile so we don't have any training accidents. So it's important to keep these entirely separate.
What did you use previously for training?
We did have conversion kits for our old firearms. So this is to get our new firearms.
Okay.
Okay. The same thing that we used to have.
And the training areas, is that the same training area, that's constantly used, or are there different areas?
We'll use them at different areas. Oftentimes we'll go to the schools because we want to be familiar with the school environments. Sometimes we'll use houses that are going to be torn down to practice movements in a house. So we'll use them in all different areas.
Okay. That's good.
One thing, if like people are on edge lately, so to the extent you have someone's taking a house down and you're going to use it for training. I did get a call. Someone was really worried about something was going on, and it was completely above board. But, you know, when you see, you
All the
know,
cars in
this
one spot.
more, you know, aggressive activity, which is training, it's all completely, it's somehow we can either alert people or put like a placard so people don't
Yes,
worry.
we're going to do that. We're going to get some maybe sandwich boards or poster or some sort of signage to put out if we're going to do something in a public area to alert people that this is just a training exercise.
Yeah.
We made that mistake a couple weeks ago when we were
Yeah.
doing an exercise on East Avenue, and some people got nervous that there was
Yeah,
some
did.
activity going
Yeah.
on. So we'll
But-
definitely do that.
But people who maybe were a little more familiar would say, oh, there's a bobcat there and they're digging up the front yard. So you go, oh, okay, so they're probably allowing the police to do it and maybe the fire later. But if you didn't know that, you would be like,
Yeah.
something bad's going on. So
Okay. If there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the New Canaan Police Department to increase an already approved purchase order with AAA Police Supply in the amount of $7,540 for simunition conversion kits to
So-
support training.
So moved.
second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
So just again, is it over the 10,000 we're working on here? Is that the?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. It's important. I think we should up that number. And just, we think about it going forward. It just seems like there is inflation, things cost more. And I know we want to keep track of how people spend it, but I think we should think about if, you know, if people have to come forward, maybe more than necessary, just a thought.
All right. Well, we can talk about what would be an appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can poll other communities, see what sort of.
Yeah,
standards.
and look, we can do whatever we want. I'm just thinking
Yeah,
about
no, I mean-
efficiency for everybody and what's like a reasonable number that we feel with the vendor, because you'll have put it in your budget that, you know, you were going to use this much for a vendor. So
Yeah.
just a thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder how, do we know how long we've had this $10,000 limit? Probably, or,
Okay, so we should take a look, see.
Okay.
It's a long time ago.
we can take an incremental approach.
Mhm.
It's probably the best way to do it. Okay. All right, so, and the next is Power DMS.
So this is for a purchase order for Power DMS, our software subscription, for $6,397. This is our policy management software that we use to house all of our policies, and for accreditation standards. It allows us to capture electronic signatures, test our officers on our policies, and meet our accreditation standards and share our accreditation standards with the accrediting agency, CALIA.
Okay.
Is this a renewal amount? Is it a big change year over year?
Not usually. They're
That's good, because a lot of people get us on that, so. I'm
Yeah,
glad that
no,
it's here.
we've been using CALIA and Power DMS for 25, almost 30 years, so it's been pretty consistent.
Thank you.
All right, if I could get a motion to approve a purchase order request from the New Canaan Police Department with Power DMS to cover the renewal annual software subscription. The total amount of the renewal is $6,397.21.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what? Just before you go, was this, how did this compare to last year's subscription?
I don't have last year's subscription number in
I
front of
just,
me.
I'd be curious just because it's like, you know, I want to just get a sense for, you know, all our technology, you know, it's always,
I can look that up.
can you
pretty
just
quickly,
send me? I just
Sure.
be curious
Yeah.
because I'm just trying to keep track of how much tech
Yeah.
is going up.
It's definitely costing us. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The Wall Street this week, the whole software industry was under fire because of, you know, the realization that AI is going to take such a big bite out of that whole industry. So it's going to be interesting to see where software goes in the future.
Yep.
So there'll either be downward pressure or upward pressure, depending on if people can stay in business or not.
Right.
So, very interesting.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ryan and John, Mead Tennis Court Spring Reconditioning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
So the Parks Department requested estimates from 4 companies for spring reconditioning services on the 8 clay tennis courts at Mead Park. 2 formal estimates were received. We are requesting approval to enter into a contract with the lowest bidder, Putnam Tennis and Recreation LLC, for the annual reconditioning of the Mead Park clay tennis courts. This work is required prior to the start of spring play and includes replacement of existing clay material, installation of new tennis line tapes, grooming and rolling of the courts, and installation of the tennis nets. The base cost for these services is $17,795. A contingency of the amount of $1,235 is requested, bringing the subtotal to $19,030. In addition, to ensure completion prior to the start of spring play, the contract includes a performance-based incentive if and only if the work is fully completed by April 24th, 2026. A 15% bonus is in the amount of $2,670 would be awarded. The potential contract amount, including contingency and this incentive, is $21,700. Funding for this work is available in the parks operating budget under professional services.
Ryan, how much do we bring in from tennis permits? Do you know?
Not quite sure. I
Not
think Zach
offhand.
would
It
probably
did
know.
not enough to
offhand.
offset this, right? I mean,
No.
yeah, so it's a real expense maintaining these clay courts.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Say nothing about the daily maintenance, the rolling, brushing, et cetera. For the courts.
We've asked that question in the past. Would a hard true court be a better move
Right.
long-term? I mean, if you add a zero for 10 years to that $22,000
Exactly.
number, it's $220,000 over 10 years. So I don't know. I mean, we'd have to do is a hard true
As a tennis
$250,000?
as a tennis player, as you get older,
On your knees, on your knees.
those hard court, and it's not hard true, it's hard courts.
Yeah.
Because hard true is this.
Yeah. sorry.
But it's really hard on your joints. So the older players are going to play here. And we have hard courts at the high school.
Right.
I can tell you I play on both, and my body feels very differently playing after each one.
What does a tennis permit?
I'm sorry.
How much is the tennis permit?
Family permit is $160.
Okay, so we would need to sell a lot of these.
We should look at maybe what the cost is of those tennis permits, given what this maintenance is. If, I mean, that's fair. I think that is fair.
Yeah, I would take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's, well, you're in budget season, so we could take. Have you guys gone between Board of Finance yet on this stuff?
Tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Thursday night. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow's parking lot.
If you can quickly look at that, I would, because that might make sense to think about how to do that best. Don't want to hurt your joints, but
I don't even play there. I'm making
right.
it very clear. I do not play at the Mead Park courts, but I will tell you, I know the difference.
yeah, that's just. I mean, so it's like $1,200 a court, ignoring the daily upkeep on it. So,
Well, we've had, those courts have been there for a long time. We've maintained them for a long time. So
Many years.
and for a while, tennis wasn't so popular, but it came back in, and yes, I mean, which happens with all this stuff. But if you guys can, why don't you look at that before you go to Board of Finance, and maybe there's a different way to look at it.
And with the self-sustaining fund, see how we could incorporate that as well.
It would be good if that was kind of self-sustaining, right? So because like the people who use it, then they get the benefit of it.
I
So
agree.
the software breaks out how many permits
We can
are
tell
being
exactly.
used at those courts. So
Yep.
you can run those numbers.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
It's not a problem.
just add it to your to-do list,
It's not a problem.
Do we, I know that's sort of common, the contingency, like, have they typically finished by the 24th, the performance?
Not all years. Not last year, the year before, they didn't quite make it. They were
Okay.
about a week late, so they did not receive any contingency.
So is there if they don't get it done and they're a month late, is there a penalty, or do you get the point there that they're not going to do the work if you don't pay them? But I mean,
Right. They want to finish it early.
okay.
They openly say that they want the bonus. They just, with weather, they weren't able to get there.
Mhm.
So, but otherwise, before we had that, sometimes we
On
were in
time.
June
Yeah.
and you lose half the spring season.
Right.
So what types of things, are they doing net repair and things like that? Because what would the contingency be for?
if we find anything, like if we need some more tennis tapes. that
Okay,
type of
so they
stuff,
do the
things
tape
like
and
that.
they do the taping, but they don't do the net, or do they do the
They
net?
install our nets
Yeah.
that we have.
Okay,
you
so
know,
if they have to be repaired or something,
Place one of the nets, that type of thing. If one of the posts
okay,
um
That was-
happened to all of
Yeah.
a sudden be rotten out, they'd replace
Yeah.
that.
okay.
Thank you.
And we've put money into these courts over the past few years, like fencing should be fine and everything else.
Fencing was replaced. There was a lot of fundraising for the fencing.
Yeah.
Last year, we installed new irrigation,
Correct.
which we're actually looking forward to having
Yeah.
up and working. Is that
Isn't there
that improves-
seating and stuff like that? There's shed over there too, right? Is that-
there's money in the budget for the shed,
Yes.
along with redoing the parking lot.
Who else gonna look
Okay.
nice?
All right, so if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Parks and Recreation Department to enter into a contract with Putnam Tennis and Recreation LLC, the amount of $17,795 plus a contingency of $1,235 and a performance bonus in the amount of $2,670 for a total cost of $21,700. The project entails the annual reconditioning of the Mead Park clay tennis courts.
So moved.
It's unanimous.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. And travel request.
Okay, so
You're not beating the $160.
Or the 250 total all
Yeah.
in, just saying.
is $185 for hotel fees, so not terrible. Definitely not terrible.
Plus you got to pay to go to the conference, right?
Correct.
What's that cost per person? Yeah.
Is I have it broken down.
195.
Yes, 195, and that's a 2-day conference. It's 3 days, but that covers the 2 days, including seminars. So,
Yep.
and the trade show. In addition to this too, some parks employees will be attending as well, but that's from a separate budget, and we're not requesting approval because they won't be staying overnight. So it's just a day trip for the
Okay.
trade show. John and I are here today requesting approval for travel and expenses related to the 2026 New England Regional Turfgrass Conference and Show. This request pertains to the expenses, including hotel fees, parking, meals, and conference admission. John and I will attend the event on March 4th and March 5th and stay overnight on the 4th. The New England Turfgrass Conference is an annual event hosted in Providence, Rhode Island. The event features networking and educational opportunities from professionals in the industry, a trade show featuring advanced turf equipment and technology, and seminars related to turf and sports field management. We are requesting approval for 1, travel and overnight stay on March 4th, 2026, and 2, expenses related to the conference. The total expenses are not to exceed $1,000.
Questions? Nope. All right.
With that said, I just think it's perfect time to let you know that Ryan now will be on the board of the New England Sports Turf Managers Association, and we'll be sharing he's on the front page of their newsletter, their magazine, and with a whole article. So
Share that with me to,
we've got
okay, when it does,
but
you
it's
should
very
send-
nice.
no, send it to me and we can put it out in the community newsletter.
So
Okay.
at that, there's a luncheon that day.
Okay.
So
Yes.
very good.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks, Ryan.
fabulous. All right. So if there are, oh, and again, I'm just, since you're here and I didn't say it to Tiger, well, we'll be out later, but thank you guys all it's been a tough month and a half of snow. And so again, thank you, because it's been rough.
I never thought we'd celebrate 33 degrees, but
I know.
Of course, yeah.
Today might be the day.
It felt great this morning.
I know.
Next week looks like the low 40s, so that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yes. Okay, so if I could get a motion to approve a travel request from the Parks and Recreation Department for John Howe and Ryan Restivo to attend the 2026 New England Regional Turfgrass Conference and Show on Wednesday, March 4th, 2026 in Providence, Rhode Island at no cost at cost not to exceed $1,000.
so moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Is it at the mall? Is that
It is at
conference in the mall?
the big conference center there
It's
in
a civic
Providence.
center in Providence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been up there a lot.
It's a good place for a show.
Okay. Thank you. So survey services.
Good morning.
Morning.
The town of New Canaan owns and maintains 394 Main Street. It's a 29.26 acre public works facility campus comprised of the town of New Canaan Highway Department, wastewater treatment facility, transfer station, animal control, salt shed, swap shop, former incinerator buildings, and the CAP landfill. The town does not currently have a comprehensive base map survey for the property and all its facilities. Any future site improvements or master planning for the campus will require a complete survey. In order to have a base map prepared for this parcel that can document the improvements that have been made over the years and be a resource for ongoing maintenance and any potential future projects, the town of New Canaan solicited proposals for survey services at the Public Works campus at 394 Main Street. Proposed survey work will include mapping of property line meets and bounds, facilities and utilities, including underground utilities, across the campus, and 1-foot topographic contours. The survey will be provided in both paper and in digital format and will be an incredibly valuable resource for the town. In order to keep the survey accurate and up to date, any future projects will prepare surveyed as-built to document any of the amendments. Bids were obtained from 4 surveyors, with the lowest bid received from the Huntington Company, who proposes to perform this work for a fee of $38,500 plus a 10% contingency of $3,850 for a total of $42,350. For reference, this is less than $1,500 per acre. Michael Shevlin of the Huntington Company has previously performed survey work on both Lakeview Avenue and on South Avenue. We recommend that the contract be awarded to the Huntington Company, LLC, for $38,500 plus a 10% contingency of $3,850 for a total of $42,350. The funds are currently available in fiscal year 26.
Okay, I have to ask on this one, why do you need a contingency?
Underground utilities, there's a contingency that if they have to retain services for ground penetrating radar, et cetera. So there's a little bit of unknown as to what is actually out there because we don't have the survey information.
Like we have no survey?
So we do have survey from 1994,
Okay.
but that was that was the
Avalon.
right, exactly.
Lumberyard transaction.
Exactly. So it was the undeveloped site. So we have the meets and bounds from that. So we have a little bit of control out there. But the improvements that have been made over time, when the landfill was capped, we have information on the cap portion of it, but we don't have a comprehensive survey that includes the highway department, the wastewater facility, the cold storage building, transfer station, scale house, et cetera. All of the improvements have been made over the years. So we are in need of a comprehensive survey that documents what has been done. And also we are anticipating looking at a master plan.
Sure.
And the first step that any consulting company will need is a comprehensive survey for that.
So the last survey that was done of that facility was 1994, you said? Or was it earlier than that?
No, I think it was actually a little bit after that with the capped landfill.
So I guess the swap shop, but that's just reusing a building that was already there. What is there that's new since 1990?
Well, we did put the building for the waste station that they used to.
Yeah, so the improvements to
So
the
that's
waste.
just the scale, okay.
Scale house, the improvements to the wastewater treatment facility,
There's
the
no
highway.
new buildings and things
Right.
with the,
Yeah.
because I'm like, the wastewater treatment plant has been there for a long time.
Yeah, went in 96,
98.
98, and then the highway department went in after that. The new transfer station area, the new scale house that we built a couple of years ago. So there's a whole bunch of pieces that we need to fill in the middle.
At the risk of asking a dumb question, I know when you do construction or improvements to your house, you have to start with the survey, and then to get your CO, you have to kind of do the survey of the, signing off it was as built.
Mhm.
But we're the ones who give the CO. So do we not do that? Like, for instance, we do a project and do we do if you did the overall big improvements we're potentially doing years away. Would then we, as we wrap that up, would we make sure we have a current as-built survey?
Yes.
Yes.
So then like
That's our
20
plan.
years from now, you wouldn't have to be like.
Right.
Okay.
And an as-built survey is much more economical. It'll be an update. It'll
Yeah,
be
it's
a
just like we said
comparison.
we were going to build this and we did, and we signed up.
Exactly.
Now, the second bidder includes a wetlands delineation. Is that something you do not need?
It is something that we anticipate needing, but at, based on the past, at a lower price than the delta between the two surveys.
So we would
What's
not be
actually not- I'm
surprised if you
sorry.
came back and said, we need a survey to deal with wetlands.
Right. And we anticipated it being a separate cost. It typically actually isn't combined in survey services. That was one thing that that firm actually has the capability of doing, so they included it. But I did want to highlight that that was one of the reasons why theirs was more, but the delta between the two surveys
It's not a
is still.
$23,000
Right.
survey. Okay.
And when you say 1 foot topographic contours, that just means that it's very detailed, right?
Yes,
I mean,
correct.
obviously it's, they're all over the place over there. Is that a typical term that you see?
So it's actually a little bit more detail than would be typical. It's sometimes 2 feet is the typical. The reason why we want that is because the change in elevations, because of all of the services and that it's open to the public, is important. So in the future, to make sure for accessibility, et cetera, we're going to have that detail. So it's valuable and to have that. And so we had it as an alternate line item, and the cost for it was $3,500. And we thought it was very well worth it to go
Yeah,
from
well,
a 2 foot to a 1 foot contour.
More detail, the better.
Right.
One last thing, since we always improve our vocabulary when we talk to you guys, what's a meet? METES, meets?
Meets and bounds. So that is the run for each of the property line segments. So it will give you the length, and it'll give you the north, the coordinates, the north easting directions of
I
the.
feel smarter now. Thank you.
So when you hover your mouse over it, you get those little numbers on
Yes.
everything. Okay.
We talked about 1994, and obviously there's a digital component to this. How do we know, given changing technologies, once we acquire this piece of information software, how long of a shelf life would that have, you think? I mean, it's hard to tell, but I know, like, you roll out a map and those will last for 1,000 years, but this is, you're paying a lot for software, or
We'll get it in both paper and in digital format. So agreed, we will have, and typically what you find in those records are what's referred to Mylar. So the survey would be on almost like a plastic film. So it has more longevity than even paper does because of that. Yes.
And the other, PDF, the other format?
Yes. Yeah. But I'm with you,
You don't know?
when you don't, when everything is in the cloud, or, though I have, I think, the only computer in the, in town hall that has its own separate tower because of the software that I use. So we have a little bit of backup there too.
Good.
All right.
Right.
If I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Huntington Company LLC in the amount of $38,500 plus a contingency of $3,850 for a total cost of $42,350. The project entails a comprehensive survey of 394 Main Street, a 29.26 acre public works facility campus.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank
All
you.
right. And
That's great.
sewer plant generation fuel tank project. Well, where's Nick? For giving him grief that I'm specifically asking.
This morning, I didn't ask him to stay, so that's my fault. But I will make sure that he next time he's sitting right here with us.
Well, no, we're asking for him.
Still feel.
Okay.
That's all right.
This one's gonna be, I got a few here. This is gonna be, so we, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
We, just installed a fuel tank down at the wastewater plant for the generator. It's above ground tank. We're gonna be eventually removing the underground tank. It's done with its useful life, and by going with the above ground tank, environmentally, it's a much safer way to store product these days. And it's a whole lot less paperwork with the DEP. So that being said, The manufacturer, actually United Country, was a one-shot deal. We purchased it from them and they installed a tank, set it in place. Now I need to plumb the tank to the generator. So I got 3 quotes. Hugh Mechanical coming in at the most favorable price at $14,740. Hugh Mechanical is also the contractor who actually manages our underground tanks and does all the AB inspections and stuff required by the DEP. So they're familiar with our property and they're familiar with what needs to be done over there. So we're looking to contract them for the $14,740 with a contingency of $1,474 for a total request of $16,214. Funds are available in this capital project for that.
How long is this run? Where, you know, it's like 14,000. How long is this
Probably about
connection?
75 feet
So,
of
it's a
piping,
chunk of
and
line.
some of it is it's going overhead outside to get inside the building. We had to penetrate the building in 2 areas. Have to run it high. You got to insulate it. Yeah, there's a little bit involved. And it's all 12 feet high, so they have to do everything on ladders. So it's a little challenging, but they'll do it.
Okay.
And then this goes out to a fuel fill outside, so they fill it from outside, then it gets.
Yeah. So the big tank's 4,000 gallons outside. It'll be piped over to a day tank inside, which will pull it over, make sure the fuel stays warm enough to keep that generator going. And
Is there a pump inside the inside tank where that?
Yeah. It's a big generator. It's 12 cylinders, very large. It drinks a lot of fuel. That thing has, I think, a 72-hour runtime on 4,000 gallons of fuel. So, the proverbial joke is that it has a garden hose that goes to the fuel pump.
So. Yeah, and it's a backup, right?
It's backup. Yeah, we don't want that one.
And we certainly want that
Yeah.
to function.
Yes, that's that's the priority generator in the town as all town buildings go. That's one that is our biggest liability. So we have a backup to that generator with the portable mobile one that we also purchased. So that should that ever have a problem, we can get that one hooked up right away.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Thanks.
There are no further questions. If I can get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Hughes Mechanical Equipment in the amount of $14,740 plus a contingency of $1,474 for a total project cost of $16,214. The project entails plumbing new fuel lines from a new fuel tank to the generator equipment at the sewer treatment facility.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
It's up to them. You want me to do the one you added first?
Yeah. So this is for, it's an emergency electrical repair for the sewer pumping station.
Yeah, we had discussions about this, I believe, before, if I recall. So over at the pumping stations for the sewer plant, we had some electrical issues that reared its ugly head on the one over on Old Stanford Road. And when it comes, and Nick asked me to help him out with this. I'm more familiar with the high voltage that's used in these types of applications, industrial type pumps, what have you. So these were installed about 1999, along with the wastewater plant. So the equipment is getting older and the technology has changed quite a bit. The current configuration uses old type of relay switches, which are high voltage. And unfortunately, they don't make them anymore. They're obsolete. It's a very old method now with the current way we do things. So I had we contracted electrical engineer to come in to survey it and come up and draft a plan. And we had the plan, and we had problems getting electrical parts, but the engineer actually was able to track them down around the country for us and purchase them and for us. And so we have all the parts and everything, and we're kind of backing into this request as it was kind of an emergency. I did go out to bid, and Johnny Pitts Electrical actually gave us a price of $14,400 to actually assemble these new panels. To have a company assemble them for us was over 6 months out. So we said, we'll do them ourselves. I need this now because if this fails, we're gonna have a big problem. We don't want sewage backing up anywhere. So
these are, I'm picturing big electrical panels with just big.
So this is going to be an electrical panel, and inside what we did was we got rid of the high voltage relays, and we put transformers stepping down to a 24 volt. So now if a relay goes bad, the guys are just reaching into a 24-volt panel, not a 483 phase panel.
Oh.
Okay, so we're reducing the risk to our staff, and our protection is there. So much safer, also much more affordable, where the current relays that Nick was purchasing were rebuilt, and they were $2,000 each, and they were dying out like in a couple of months. So going to these off-the-shelf Granger parts for, I think, $25 relay as opposed to $2,000 rebuilt ones is much more economical to do it and safer. So we're just having John build these panels. He's going to install the first one on the old Sanford Road site first. And our electrical engineer will do follow-up inspections and everything, and submit a report for our building department to have that on file. I did add a contingency of 2880 just because there was a little bit of unknown on the Whiffle Tree pumping station because it's an underground building, and it's really not too much room in there to move around. So we realize there may not be enough wall space to mount this panel, so we may have to build a pedestal or something, get a little creative to make this work properly. So I did ask for a $2,880 contingency just in case we run into these problems. We could just do it and do it right.
Okay.
Any questions?
Will you need to take power down and where those places are affected, or will
No? So that's the beauty about the pump stations. They did think about having a backup, so there's redundancy in these pump stations. So we're going to do one side of the panel at a time. So we'll always have one pump running, convert the other pump, then swap it over, and just do it as it's going, like on the fly, so to speak.
Great. Okay.
So, and give you an idea of that pumping station. The pumps that are in there now pump 500 gallons per minute, to give you the idea of like how much these pumps are big and the amount of power that goes to them to make these things work. That's why we cannot afford a pump not to work at 500 gallons a minute.
All right. So I guess if I could get a motion to approve emergency electrical repairs for sewer pumping stations for Pitts Electric in the amount of $14,400 plus a contingency of $2,880 for a total request of $17,280.
So moved. I was waiting.
Come on,
I was
what's
waiting
going
for the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The project entails emergency repairs at sewer pumping stations.
okay.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Didn't look up here. I'm like, where's the, yes, sorry about that.
All right.
It's unanimous.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
So we're going to discuss the Playhouse a little bit here. So we did have, yeah, I know, right? So,
The good news. Now you're giving us
I always
bad news?
say
Come
it's
on.
the gift that keeps on giving.
you know,
It's all goodness.
it's all, we always look at things as good news. This keeps our spirits up. It keeps us on our toes. How's that? So we, on January 21st, it was interesting. About a few minutes before 8 o'clock in the morning, I received an alarm on my cell phone that fire system was in trouble at the Playhouse. And 1 minute later, I got a ground fault trouble, which tells me, right, I got a water issue. And I was in my office. By the time I ran over there, water was pouring down through the bars, through the ceilings. Mostly traveling, the most easiest path was through the fire alarm, because it's an open area. It's just come right down there, and then out one of the light fixtures downstairs. Within 2 hours, I was able to shut the water off. It was coming from the attic from one of the air handlers. The coils had opened up, and it was the first very cold day we had, so I was concerned about freezing. Not sure what was happening. I isolated it. Within 2 hours, I had 24 restore on site. They cleaned up the water. They had all their equipment running, drying up everything. Very fast response. They're a great company. I had silent watchman responded to disable the alarm system to relocate it. So I got the fire alarm back up and running within those 2 hours also. So the building was protected. We did notify the insurance company, Kerma, who also notified Hartford Boiler, is subcontracted to Kerma, if I understand that relationship. And they was doing inspections anyhow. So that's a secondary insurance that we do have to cover the mechanical and boilers and what have you in our buildings. I had Eastern Mechanical come out. They were the ones that initially installed everything. They came out. I was up there. We identified an unusual issue with a coil that for I have a better term, it looks like somebody took a razor blade and sliced every other coil where it comes out the copper perfectly. And it was like, no one ever seen it like that. We started speculating that it might have been more of a factory defect, and it just happened to rear its ugly head now. When the insurance adjusters came out, they scratched their head over it too. So they all concluded that it looks more like a factory defect. So it's a covered expense. Now we do have a $25,000 deductible on insurance, although I did get some emails that some of this still may be covered. So I'm still working through those details. For the purpose of this is that I had a lot of work done under emergencies. So we are requesting the 23,608. 60890. I did exact numbers and pennies even. And then I'm asking for a contingency of 2360.89 just as a 10%, just because there are a couple of things that were estimates and I'm kind of close with those. I just want to make sure I can pay these people for the response. As of now, I had AW come in, construction. Let me back up. We got really lucky that we cleaned it up so fast, and we dried it for 7 days with a lot of equipment running over there from 24 Restore. We did is when we insulated all those floors, we used mineral wool, which does not absorb water. So the water passed through it like a filter. So I didn't have to rip the ceilings up or the floor, which I was a little concerned about. I had to go back to my memory banks to remember what I did there. And the 24 Restore confirmed that in between the interstitial space was all dry. So there would be no issues, any kind of mold or anything growing in there. So AW did come out. We had to do about 40 square feet of sheetrock down in the pub area and the ceiling, and they repainted the upstairs and the downstairs. They had to do some of the patching up in the where the seams. Sometimes the tape came off. So they did all that. They painted everything, and we're back up and running. And we got the heat all. They got the new coil came in. We had one made, and the irony of the whole thing was, it came from down south and then it got stalled down south because of the freeze in the trucking industry and everybody came to a standstill. So it got delayed a couple of days, but we got it up there. It's installed. And right now we're maintaining 71 degree temperature in the pub area. So it heats all back on. Still a bit more work to do over there, but I think we should be able to cover it all within this.
So, but we have a $25,000 deductible.
Yeah.
So you said that they think it was a defective coil.
Yeah.
So that is there a chance that because it was defective, and of course we're beyond installation warranty, that part of that, I think it's $8,600 related to remove and replace coil. Is there a chance we might get some reimbursement?
So I did receive an email, like I said, from Hartford Boiler, who said that it is a covered expense and to send them the invoice. What I don't know is if that they're saying it's a covered expense if I exceed 25,000 or they're covering it under the 25. I didn't open that conversation with them yet until I have all the paperwork in my hands. So I'm pushing to hopefully they'll cover it. If not, then it's just going to be on us. And understand $25,000 deductible is not bad when you look at we have, I think, a $400 million policy. So.
And these numbers that you have are of estimates. How confident are you?
Estimates, some are actually have a.
Yeah, I can see the actuals. Yeah.
Yeah, some are right there. I'm pretty comfortable where they are. I mean, I talked to these folks and they've.
Very specific estimate.
Yeah, they.
$1,663.30.
Yeah, so that's when we have your service guys write up the estimates. That's what they came back with, and that was to have a coil made and to remove it and then to install the new one and whatever incidental they need.
So these coil, it was a defective coil. Are they specifically made for us, or is it for the system? That's the coil you use.
Standard coil size for that, but when these are from Train, and when we originally ordered these way back when, it took 1.5 years to get those units. And I know this is not sitting on somebody's shelf.
I remember watching the hearings on that. This was related to the whole
Yes.
revisit on, yeah.
We found an American company who makes these, and we put it in for an expedited order, and they got us within, I think, less than 10 days. So,
I mean, of all the things that were going to fail in this theater, projectors, maybe a roof, maybe doors, elevator, whatever, it had to be the one thing that was just a nightmare. In this whole thing. I mean,
timing is everything, and unfortunately, listen, lessons learned. We were doing some other preventive measures up there. When this thing failed, it was at the height of the pumps charging the building, and so the water pan that captures it couldn't handle that much volume going through it. So what we learned is that we have some new controls being put into place that would actually, one, that if there's it gets cold out at certain degrees, that my boilers are automatically going to go on and take it back off schedule and put it into a scheduled mode. So that, if you got down, let's say below 20 degrees, the heater will automatically go on and not have a setback. All right. The other thing we're having there is more alarms put in. Actually, I just had that all updated, so I'm getting emails all the time.
Well, that was a follow-up, Bill, is that, whatever was there didn't work. And we've got to figure out if we need a bigger pan, better alarms, whatever it is.
We're working through all that. I actually have a quote coming. I spoke to Dion about it already. We're going to do it as a separate project. So what I'm looking at now is actually putting in electric control secondary valves on each unit, so that if a leak detection goes off, it'll close those valves, and so no water can go through that. I get an alarm. Okay, something happened. I'll go look. It could be as simple as overcondensating or the pan drain is plugged or something, but alarm will go out. Now, this is all great, but it can't help if there's a power outage or with power and you have some of these issues. So there's always going to be a weak link. You just try to minimize that the best you can. And I think, going down this path and investigating, doing these electric valves is a good thing to do. It's not something you would normally build into a project. It's an extra. And in this case, given that the amount of equipment we have in the attic, it might be cheap medicine to do it. So I will follow up on that with Deanna when the quotes come in.
So, Ann, this is a question I have. It's for you. So we approve this 25,969, and let's say we get the $8,663 in, insurance payment related to the coil. Do you automatically reduce the approval then based on what we got for insurance? How do we kind of tighten that up if we get an insurance payment? Yep.
Or we approve that check coming in.
Yeah.
It would still stay at the same level if they're paying out still the higher amount, but they're just netting the cost of the check.
Yeah, I just don't want money for this vendor to stay out there if we get an insurance
it
payment.
Would be if they still owe the same amount, it just means that's coming in.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we keep it within the same, like in this case, because it's the Playhouse Fund, it'll stay within that fund, however they do, they'll do the accounting appropriately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the fund is there's money to add to the fund to be able to cover these expenses too.
Okay, great. Oh, that's good to know. There's money still in there. Surprising.
And we didn't put a
Surprisingly.
backup generator in that building, right? We don't have, if power goes out, it goes out. Right?
No, yeah, it's out. Tiger had me look into that one point. I mean, anything's possible. It just depends how much money you want to throw at it. We have generators that can charge that building. The problem is getting to where the electric comes in on the ground in the front of the building.
Well, if you're going to prioritize a building, that's probably not a very high priority, especially when
it's
you have a power
it's
outage.
subjective.
Yeah.
If you power it up, people
Yeah.
got a place to go. Yeah, that's kind of like a decision. You guys can give me direction on if that's what we want to look at. I can price it up.
We do okay downtown,
Yeah, I mean, we don't, that's
don't
the last place that loses power. The first place that gets it
for a long
back.
time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think once we get for a long time.
Like a week ago, and with this cold coming in, and we had massive power outs like we've had in years past, I would be looking at ways to hotwire the building with generators, just killing all the power going into it by switching, and then hardwiring right to it off a generator, because at that point, I know that buildings will start freezing if I don't do something. It's not the most fun thing to do or the easiest thing to do. It's doable. I've done it before. I've done it to the YMCA during Sandy. That building, it's just, to your point, it's not a priority building, but to me it is, because every building's priority when it's, what's going to freeze and what's the damage that potentially can happen. It's simple to go out there and drain the water out of the building and say, okay, it's not going to freeze. It doesn't, never works in your favor that way. So there are.
Yeah, like this building, we wired for, we just put the generator, pull the generator up.
Fully
plug it in and
automated.
go.
Yep, generator's fully automated here. We have, I think, 12 generators that are fully automated, and now we have a big backup that can handle any of our buildings, and we also just purchased the smaller one for our pumping stations that if not used there, they can do our smaller buildings. So we have options.
All right. So if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works for emergency repair work performed at the Playhouse Theater for a project cost of $23,608.90 plus a contingency of $2,360.89 for a total project cost of $25,969.79.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May this be the last time we discuss this issue ever again. At least us, at least us.
I mean, the alarms are there, they got to it quickly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it could have been
absolutely.
sitting there for,
No, there's no question about it.
so
And thank you,
thank
Bill, for the
goodness.
save. It was a
Bill, thanks
save,
for
really. I
jumping
mean,
on that.
and when you think about sheetrocking and painting and everything, I mean, the amount is not bad compared to what it could have been. So,
Yeah,
So-
like, you minimized
Yeah.
the damage.
so thank you.
I don't get there quick enough. It's more work on me, so we do our best to get there and stop the problem. All right, thank you, folks. Have a good day.
All right. You're on low. Another one
Continuing with-
before. Thank you, everybody, for the month and a half of extra time and effort and
Yeah,
craziness.
there might be something this evening too, a little bit of ice and something for the weekend.
There's a
End of the
hammock
weekend,
and a pina
Sunday.
colada. Go somewhere.
Oh, I'll tell you what, when it's 100 in the summer, I will never complain again. I promise.
So this is a request basically based upon you, when we came here prior to approve the snowplow rates a meeting or so ago. This is going forward now for a blanket purchase order for Hussey Brothers and for Burns Construction. Based upon those rates for work performed this season and work to be performed, hopefully not, but just a small amount going forward to have them be available. So Hussey Brothers comes in for the highway and Burns Construction comes in as well. Burns comes in for major storms. Well, they both come in for major storms. And they help us, Hussey Brothers helps us in the overnight. So basically when the guys try to get some rest between say 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. or 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., we're starting to change protocol to go out a little bit earlier because so cars aren't on the road, we get a little bit more work done. They keep our mains open. They keep, in case there's a fire call, there's an emergency call or something like that, they kind of do that work. And then Burns has been instrumental in helping us with Waveney itself. So Waveney is a very large campus, a lot of parking lots. So we've been tasking them on the larger storms to plow those areas so that we can focus on the rest of the town and the other parking lots that we have. So we're looking at a purchase order for $15,000 for Hussey Brothers and $20,000 for Burns. We have money in our outside contractor lines for this work in the 26 operating budget, and request your approval. Do you have anything else?
No,
I did all right.
yeah, covered.
All right.
We use Hussey and Burns for a lot of things. So this 15 and 20, is this for work they've already, I thought you said for work they've already done plus.
Some is, yeah, some is prior, some is going forward.
Do we have a breakout of how
So
much?
what's the percentage? Is it 75, 25? Yeah.
It's about 75-25. Yeah, I would say it's about $10,000 for Hussey and about $12,000 for Burns at the top of my head. So maybe a little bit different than the 75-25, but yeah. That's
So if we get lucky with weather, you won't spend on
We'll need
this.
them, right? But this storm coming in this weekend, it's over, it's a Sunday to a Monday. We don't know. We try to triage out, especially if nothing's happening in an area, we won't necessarily attack it. So we don't attack Waveney unless there's things happening in Waveney. So if it's, and then other areas. So we try to triage it down. Same thing with the railroad parking lots.
Sure.
If it's on a Sunday, we kind of, you have a little bit of time, things of that nature. But when it runs into, thankfully, Mondays, on one aspect, Monday's a holiday, fantastic.
Yeah.
The other aspect, Monday's a holiday.
Every storm comes on a
Yeah.
holiday or Sunday. Yep, like,
It's a little bit more money for our crews, but we do each storm. While we have an overall protocol, each storm presents its own measures, and then we triage as we go based upon what's happening in town, what's happening during the storm, and what's needed.
It'd be tricky,
Burns for the prolonged storms, they really help us out in Waveney because, we're kind of worried about, roadways and all that. So you can set them there. Obviously we got 15 or 17 inches a couple weekends ago. They're there, you're constantly moving snow. It's hard for us to break off, go into Waveney. We have other priorities as well. So that's a huge help. And then Joe helps, especially this year. We've been down, last weekend we were down 4 guys. So to add an extra guy that knows town and, you could trust and put them all over wherever we have like a weak link where it's someone new doing a different route, it does really help out. So.
Right. In one instance, when we went out to plow just the roads itself, the 4.5 inches fell in the parking lots in that amount of time. So if we're not able to kind of attack those areas, to Lou's point about Burns working in Waveney, we would have lost Waveney at that point in time. It would have been a whole different entity at that point.
So just to be clear, we haven't officially paid anything to these contractors for storm work because we just approved the rates. And so this is, as I look at it, an additional 35,000 outside of DPW for storm related work for this season.
That's correct.
So far.
We keep track of it. On our storm chart for every storm, we keep track of what we've done, but you're correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
And then going forward, we'll be earlier on the approval of the rates, so then we can get the purchase orders in earlier. This one here was contingent upon getting the rates set first.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, and this was a conscious decision that we made in government to not necessarily build extra storm coverage because the weather's been all over the place.
Yeah.
Right.
If I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works for blanket purchase orders with Hussey Brothers Excavating in the amount of $15,000 and with Burns Construction in the amount of $20,000 for winter storm operations assistance.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you. All right.
And this
Emergency salt purchase.
So this next was
$1,000 it costs because of the weather. Between the Playhouse, this, and the
Oh,
salt.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, the Playhouse was really a broken thing. The weather didn't do that.
Yeah, but
That could have happened without the weather.
So this next is an approval of an emergency purchase of salt. We went to Deanna, Lou and I went to Deanna last week. Salt storage in the entire state is low. There's some towns that are out completely. Haddam was down to 40 tons. Everyone's changing to salt and sand, other things. We've done a nice job of trying to mitigate that and manage that, but without having places on order through Morton and the Gateway Terminal empty, meaning there's no salt whatsoever. It's usually a football field size area, about 10 feet high of salt. It's empty. So, and the promise that barges are coming and they're not necessarily arriving in the port. We had to take a different tact and go to a different supplier. So we went to Chemical Equipment Labs. Lou had been reaching out to Providence, Albany, Massachusetts. We called basically everywhere around to find out exactly who had salt, where it was, and how much it was. And this was the best that we had. And we just asked for a 200-ton purchase at $135 a ton. We normally are contracted with Morton at $88.13 a ton. So it's about a $10,000 change, a little under 10,000, about $9,400, I think is what we calculated together. Right. So, but so, 200 tons at $88 a ton would have been X amount of dollars, but it's about $10,000 more that we had to pay. But given the fact of the storms that were coming and how low we weren't necessarily worried about the storms that we had, but the storms that were coming after. And if there was nothing coming from from Gateway itself or from Morton, and everyone else is going to be there as well. So it's not just our trucks. We sent 17 trucks there last week and got the last 200 tons out. And when we left, there was an entire run of triaxles sitting there waiting for material that wasn't there in the port. I got a call from Norwalk Saturday morning asking for 100 to 200 ton. And I said, I can't give you 100 to 200 ton if I just asked for an emergency appropriation yesterday from my boss. There's no way it's going out the door. I had talked to Lou. Lou's like, we can't. I hate to say no, but I had to say no. I'm sorry, I can't. But Norwalk was in a bind. She had virtually nothing left. I know my town went to sand and salt, did not do cul-de-sacs, did sand and salt on through streets and salt on the main roads. So that's how they triaged it out. Other towns were doing the exact same thing, stretching it out, doing what they can, or just plowing. So we were in a good spot, but we were worried about getting into a very bad spot. So that was why we went through with this emergency purchase. Tiana said yes. We received all of our material. Got 2 loads on Friday, 6 loads yesterday. So we got our about 183 tons of the 200 tons ordered. And with the promise from Morton that there's more this week coming, 200 tons this week coming as straight salt and 200 tons of treated salt next week with 2 separate barges. But those are promises. Those weren't in the shed at the time. So we had to we did. Right now we're still in pretty good stead, hoping that we get these next two, and then hopefully the weather starts to get better for us. Ryan said it's going to be in the 40s, up 38s. We're going to take him at his word, and then we're going to see how it goes.
You had mentioned the sand and salt combination, and we've talked about why we don't use sand. Can you mention that just for the public?
Right. We stopped in 2007. We used to be a 3-to-1 mix, 3 sand, 1 salt. And in 2007, we went to all straight salt, which was actually just the one. So basically we use the same amount of salt without the sand. We get less cleanup. We get less problems associated with it. And then the sand itself actually was creating a snowpack too, kind of then makes it hard for us to get material out. And then the cleanup is brutal in the end. And speaking of Norwalk, she couldn't go to sand and salt because of her MS4 permit. We have the exact same problem. We're risking our municipal separate storm sewer system permit with the DEP, which is basically you got to clean all your catch basins every year. Well, if you fill them with sand, it takes so much longer to clean. We used to take all season to sweep all the roads because that's part of the mandate is to sweep all the roads by at least once a year. We're able to do all those pretty much by April, May, because we only use salt instead of using salt and sand. So we're able to do it a couple of times during the year and save money because we're only going out. We might go out 3 times for all the roads, but it's actually less time and effort than it was to do one when we were doing a sand and salt application. So there's a lot of things to be said for not doing fills up the wetlands, fills up the sound, things of that nature. It's not environmentally friendly. So we wanted to stave off that. Can understand why other towns had to go do it, but we wanted to get to the point where we didn't have to have that issue.
Okay.
Anything else?
Questions?
Doing all right?
And by no means are we out of the woods yet either. Just, we're basically waiting on promises that.
So the ports
Let's
still
see
haven't
again.
gotten it.
Just for example, we have an order of 500 tons out since January 17th. So we were ahead of the 2 weekend storms. We were ordered ahead of that. That shows you how far back we were trying to get the salt just to keep up because of the lack of supply we have, but there was a week and a half where voicemail, that's all you called every single day. We were calling 3 times a day, go to voicemail and never received a word back. And then finally they're like, they just finally gave up and said, we don't have it, which if they told us that a week and a half prior, we could have game planned a little differently, but.
What's our total capacity like in July? How much salt can we store?
1,600 tons.
1,600 tons.
Yeah. We would like to be like 3,000.
3,000. Yeah. Our order for the year is 3,000 tons for the year.
That's what I was
We're at
gonna-
1,600. So we're mandated to get deliveries, that puts us at a disadvantage. Some other municipalities actually have a larger salt barn or salt shed and don't, but we're mandated. So that's why we order early and often. So as it starts to go out the door, we start to order early so that we're on the forefront of it. So we don't get into an issue with having no salt.
Yeah. And prior to the big storm we have 1,100 tons on order. So 500 plus the other 600 anticipated for the big storm. Now, we're not hearing back from anyone. Usually the salt just shows up, you order it, you get it. It's just like a constant rotation. Well, that is not happening.
Congestion pricing.
Well, we think a lot of it went south, because they weren't ready for it. They would never have been ready for it. And they got whacked. And we think a lot of it got diverted down there. We can't prove that, but you would have to go help them out. They say, well, you've got stuff, right? They have nothing. We're going to send it down there, pay a premium down there. And then the next ones will come to you, but hopefully you'll have enough to get you through, So, and I should say the monies are available in our budget. We're not asking for anything additional. We have monies in the budget for it in our road maintenance account. So this additional $10,000 additional cost we have covered at present.
Okay, great.
All right. So if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works for purchase order and to enter into a contract with Chemical Equipment Labs, Inc. in the amount of $27,000 for the purchase of 200 tons of salt for snow maintenance operations.
So moved.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Which is fine. Okay.
Good morning.
Yes, you get me this morning. We are here to ask for approval to remove Tim Blakeman from the building department off of probationary status. Tim was hired in April of 2025, part-time in the building department, and he went full-time as a residential building inspector in July after completing that certification. He has recently completed his building official certification, so he is ready to come off probation, and we would ask that we get approval for that.
Any questions?
He's been a great addition to that department.
Positive energy around him, so it's great.
Good.
It's great.
That's good.
That whole department has really coalesced.
Yeah, it's great. All right, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Human Resources Director to remove Tim Blakeman from probationary status.
So moved.
It's unanimous.
Thanks, Mimi.
All right, and New Canaan Farmers Market is
on. Alexis Gazy, who is the market master. Lexi, I saw you're on. Hopefully you can unmute. Hopefully she can.
Good morning. Yes. Happy New Year.
Hey, Lexi, how are you?
We are here, Lexi and I are here just to approve the annual farmers market in the lumberyard parking lot on Saturdays from 10 to 2, beginning April 11th, 2026 through December 19th. The one exception this year, which Lexi is aware of, is that, as you know, and that's where I was, the 250th celebration parade that we're having on June 27th, we're going to line everybody up in the lumberyard parking lot that Saturday morning. So we're going to have to we're not saying that it may just happen in a different section of the lot or some other location, but I just noted that on there for just for the record that we have some planning to do around that day.
We might even apply to have a float in the parade this year.
I love that. I love that.
It's good, Lexi.
Great. All right, you guys have all the trailers you need, and I can see some corn. I don't know what you do. There we go.
We do. We have trailers and wagons and tractors and
love
flags.
it.
We have plenty of flags.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to see. I'm now counting on it.
That's right. You just committed yourself.
All right. Are there any questions?
No, I mean, the farmer's market's been a nice addition. Saturday, it's become a Saturday morning tradition in town, and it attracts a lot of folks over there, and you know, traffic has been flowing in and out of there fine, and
you get a bird's eye view.
It's a nice addition to town. I really think people enjoy going, and I've had only good feedback, Lexi, so all good.
True. How many years now have they been over at the lumberyard lot?
I was thinking the same. Lexi, how many years have you been over at lumberyard now? 4?
2021 was our first year.
Oh, okay, right after.
And that we stressed over that decision to move them from the library over, but it has worked well.
It was a 20-year debate, I think. Depending on, you know, the library. It was always the library needing extra room. So the library looks great. The expansion is wonderful. The parking area for them is great. And we're happy to be in our new location. Not so new anymore.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I think the only thing we're missing is the trees.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Lexi.
Yes.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from Alexis Gazy. Is it Gazy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yes.
Gazy, Market Master, to hold the summer New Canaan Farmers Market at the lumberyard parking lot on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. from April 11th to 2026 to December 19th, 2026, with the exception of June 27th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Got Claire Drexler and Doug Zumbach joining me for the next request. So we are here. You're all obviously very familiar with caffeine and carburetors, and this is the annual request per our rules that we need to get approval from the Board of Selectmen to close the park on a day and also to allow for any sales to happen in Waveney Park. So that's what we're here for October 18th in Waveney. That would start at 5 a.m. through noon. The park would be used for
the Caffeine and Carburetors event. You want to add anything?
No, I think just that we found that the closure of the park was really allowed the event to be very successful in terms of its organization and operation. And so, yeah, I think we're just sort of building on that momentum from last year. Anything to add?
Well, it certainly helped with all the traffic flow coming in from both directions. So it was a big help, big help.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done this for so many years now that every year it seems like you tweak it just a little more, so it's a little smoother and a little easier for everybody to get in and out of there. So
A lot of planning goes in behind the scenes, a
Yeah,
lot of work on
a
your
lot of
part.
collaboration. And I think everyone's been really helpful in kind of adding their own perspective to make sure that, you know, it's we're taking CERT's sort of perspective into play, and the emergency services, the volunteers, to make sure that the event is as organized and safe, I would say, as possible.
John doing the lines was such a big help.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
Just big help in all the parking.
That would be Ryan. John was pointing and he's pointing.
Approved by Parks and Rec.
Yeah. One small question. In the past, we've had to approve certain vendors. Do we have to do that with this, or is this all?
Well, they'll work through the health department, those approvals, obviously.
But they don't have to come to us.
No, we're just allowing.
We're approving the sale. So this motion is also allowing them to sell, which is what they have to get approval for.
I just knew in the past it was like specific ones.
We'll get a list.
We're all good.
As we plan, we'll get a list of which ones they plan to bring. But yes, the health department definitely is part of that.
You have a little crepe vendor. No, I'm kidding.
That would be nice. Right?
Do you know that?
Yeah.
You know, and I think we mentioned this the last time we approved you guys, but the fact that you've added the additional contribution to the conservancy and all you're doing for town, it's really well received and we're very happy about it. So thank you for everything you're doing on that end too.
Thank you guys. We're thrilled to be able to give back to the town and to Waveney, which is such a remarkable asset of the town.
Thank you. All right.
All right, with that, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the organizers of Caffeine and Carburetors to close Waveney Park on October 18th, 2026 from 5 a.m. to noon for an automotive gathering and charity event, and to allow food and beverage vendors to sell products during the event.
Enthusiastically moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. All right, thank you.
Thanks for sitting through our meeting too.
I know.
You should look at the agenda in the future and see where you time it. You know?
Bye. All right. And appointments. So in front of you, you have two appointments. I don't know, is Barb on? Okay, so we'll do the Southwest. So the EMS has to make an appointment from their ranks to be a representative of the Southwest Connecticut EMS Council. They are hoping to appoint after today's meeting, Josh Schofield as the council representative. You know, I hope you both know Josh. He's great. He's a longstanding member of EMS. So
yeah, and this one we have to go with their recommendation.
Yes.
Absolutely, they know what's needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I could get a motion to approve Josh Schofield as council representative as requested by EMS president.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. And then, so we have Marilyn online. Okay, so the Housing Authority has had a vacancy. Bernie Simkin has rolled off of the Housing Authority, and by legal requirement, you need to have a resident as part of the Housing Authority. Marilyn, do you want to say hello?
Yes, I would like to say hello and thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited about getting all my neighbors connected and really do a good job with the requirements of being a member of the Housing Authority, the select group or whatever. I've learned so much from just this meeting that I can share with a lot of our neighbors here at New Canaan Parish, Riverwalk, and then the Mill and Millport Apartments. I've been in.
Marilyn, are you going to tell them the truth that it's not boring and that they should come to these meetings? It's very exciting what we do.
I really didn't feel like it was boring. I just learned so much. I mean,
good. That's good.
I didn't
We
really
love it.
know all of this was, I knew someone was running the town, but this is really, I'm very informative. A
Thank
little
you.
early for me, but I'm going to get with it.
Me
And-
too, Marilyn. Well, I watch all your meetings, so I look forward to seeing you online, but please stop into town hall and introduce yourself at some point, because I haven't met you before, but I know, just so everyone knows, the Housing Authority interviewed multiple candidates and Marilyn was their choice. And so I want to congratulate Marilyn on being chosen, and thank you in advance for all the work that you're going to be doing on behalf of the residents of the Housing Authority. So it's a big job.
Okay, thank you so much. And I will stop in there to meet you and do
Great.
whatever else it is that I need to do. So
Great.
thank you guys so much.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome, Marilyn. You've been around for 30. It said you've been in there for 30 years in New Canaan, so you got a lot of history. So it's great to have on the board. So thank you for stepping up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And with that, if I could get a motion to approve the appointment of Marilyn. Okay, now you'll have to correct me if I say it wrong. Bulware Hewlett?
Yes, Bulware is my maiden name, and so
Okay.
I just sort of stick with it just to
Great.
hold up my heritage or whatever.
Love it. Okay, so we'd like to appoint you as resident commissioner as required by HUD for a 5-year term ending April 30th, 2030.
So moved.
Second, thanks,
It's
Marilyn.
unanimous.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, and then you have on your tablets contracts under 10,000. If you have any questions.
Good.
Okay. And then the legal bills are for January are also on there. Any questions?
Yeah, good remaining surplus so far.
Yep. So, and you see how that we've now, we've got the distinction between the
Mhm.
general fund. So,
Yep.
Okay.
Where they
All
should be.
right. Okay, so if I could get a motion to approve the legal bills.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. And I don't have any comments for today. Any
No,
comments?
just
Okay.
I think I'm very excited that we appear to have a very promising operator for the Playhouse. I just think that's very important. That's been a stress for everybody, and I think we're in good shape for this to keep the lights on and being even a greater part of the community. So.
Yeah, and I think Joe has that long-term experience and perspective in New Canaan. So it's really, I think he's going to do a nice job. He knows the town as well as anybody we've had in there. So I'm excited as well.
I'm optimistic, and I haven't generally been on this one.
All right, with that, if I could get a motion to adjourn.
Thanks. Oh, second, whatever.